Hello everyone, welcome to Rob's Rogues, and hopefully you notice a change here. I'm trying a completely new setup, so hopefully the camera angle isn't tilted too bad. I'm waiting on a proper mount to get here for the camera that I'm using, but in the meantime, today we're taking a look at DC Collectibles DC Icons line. This is figure number 28 in the line. It's the single-carded Superman figure that originally came in the Justice League Rebirth 7-pack. So I decided to get a few of these other single-carded figures, mainly because I really wanted the Batman figure, and my good buddy Stu Murray 47 sent me the Batman figure from the Justice League 7-pack. So once I had him and I saw that they were releasing Superboy and Robin together as a 2-pack, I thought, well, I probably should have Batman and Superman to go with Superboy and Robin, and I've already picked up Nightwing. Now, I'm in the middle of two cameras. I've edited and shot a bunch of other action figure reviews, probably almost 20 different reviews on the old camera, so I'm trying to salvage as much of that stuff as I can, because I know the quality has just shifted pretty rough, actually, since I have originally shot that stuff. I don't know if it's just the camera's not keeping up anymore, or I have some settings wrong. Needless to say, I might be going back through and reshooting some of that stuff completely from scratch again. So bear with me as we go through this changeover for the channel. So the packaging is pretty standard for the Icons line. Superman and Batman, I believe, were the last two figures technically released from the Icons line. I don't have Nightwing's box here. Relatively easy to remember what his number is, but we'll look at that when the time comes. But there's a 28th figure here from the line. Superman there, just the window cut out there with the Superman logo right there. And there's the back of the box here. These are sculpted by Steve Kuiz, if I'm saying that right. I'm probably completely saying that wrong. But Superman and Batman were the only two figures from the Justice League 7-pack to be made or be released in single-carded figures. I really think Wonder Woman should, even though she did get a 75th anniversary single-carded figure. So technically she is out there, but I think her size was just a little bit different than what the 7-pack version of Wonder Woman was in some of her paint apps. So we're going to stop everything right here. We will get Superman out of package, and we will get a closer look at him with the Batman figure, which technically I haven't reviewed yet. So you'll be seeing him first with this new setup, and maybe even I'll bring Nightwing up too. So we'll be right back. Do not go anywhere. Alright, here is Superman out of package. I really like the figure. I'm glad that the Icons line increased their size back to closer what the original DC Collectibles size was. They're still a little bit shorter than what the new 52 figures are, so some of them are kind of harder to intermix with the Icons line. Even though they're two separately different lines, I know a lot of us were kind of hoping we can kind of seamlessly mix these figures together. So you'll have an Icons set on your shelf, and you'll have a new 52 set. Now, characters like John Kent or Superboy and Damian Robin could mix in a little bit easier just because they are kids. Now, they do get a little bit smaller in size comparatively just because of the different scale sizes. Man, it's hard to talk. New camera, same old Rob. So anyway, let's take a look at Superman rather than talk about two figures that I don't have just yet. So this is right after, Rebirth has started, where Superman has the blue boots with the red trim on them. I am glad that with the Superman Reborn storyline, where they melded the New 52 and the Rebirth Superman into one proper Superman, that Superman does have the blue boots. There's going to be a new Superman figure coming out in 2018 from the Rebirth line, or I don't know if it's called the Icons line, Essentials. I think it's going to be the DC Collectibles Essentials line, where it is the current version of Superman from Rebirth with the yellow belt and with the red and yellow belt, and then the red boots. I wanted to kind of get this one just so we could kind of start, so I could kind of complete my figures that I have, since I have the Justice League 7-pack Batman already, and then the new Batman that's coming out is going to be blue and gray instead of black and gray. So I just kind of wanted to have two essentially of the same figures from their first introduction into a Rebirth. But a really, really solid figure. I really, really like this guy. And essentially I thought, well, I'm not going to go out and try and find Superman. I was only going to get just the Bat family characters. But again, Superboy and Robin 2-pack really prompted me to want to get a Rebirth Superman figure to go with the Super Sons. And I'm glad that DC at least decided to sell Superman and Batman as single-carded figures. So very cool for them to do that, although I really kind of wish they would have done that with the whole entire line. I think it may have been a little bit easier for people to kind of pick them up as time goes by as single-carded figures. I like the Icons line. I only have a very few Icons figures. I've got Batman, Death in the Family, Joker. I bought Batman and Blue Beetle at the same time. I was hoping Blue Beetle was going to fit in with my Mattel figures a little bit, and then I ended up finding a Blue Beetle Mattel figure. So the Blue Beetle figure for me just kind of became a figure that I was like, why did I pick him up? But let's take a look at Articulation on Superman. And first of all, the sculpting work is done very well. Superman appears to be in a little bit of a half smirk, a little bit, where, you know, Batman's usually frowning. I'm glad he's not totally, you know, in a frown like superheroes don't smile pose. I'm glad Superman has a little bit of that. If you remember the New 52 Superman, which I have right here, he has what Chapman Films referred to as bitch face Superman. So I forget which, I never bought the single-carded version of this Superman. This, I believe, is the single-carded Superman, but had the non-smirking face that I did some head swaps back and forth. I think this head came with the Trinity 3-pack with the metallic Superman that I just swapped out bodies and heads for. So there you can kind of see and look at the size from the New 52 line to the Icons line is quite substantial. Superman doesn't even fit, New 52 doesn't fit into the review height that I have here for the figure. I do miss this size of figure, and this was a jump from previous sizes too, so I think they're trying to go back where DC Collectibles used to be. I think a lot of us just want uniformity in sizes, so you don't have all these different size gaps in figures. I still like that they retained kind of like the V in the cape from the two figures, from the two characters, excuse me. I got to be a fan of the black S on the back of Superman's New 52 cape. It's cool to see the yellow S back on the cape, but I think after almost 6 years of the New 52, it's just what it was, and I grew to like that. But seeing more of the classic look for Superman, that he doesn't have the high collar anymore. And again, now in Rebirth, he has the red boots and a yellow on the cape, as everybody's kind of fallen here. That it seems to be more like the Superman that we all know and love in the comics. So if you're not reading Action Comics, and my favorite Superman book is the actual Superman title that just celebrated its 800th anniversary, 800th issue rather. To me, that's a Superman book. Tomasi, Gleason, great writing team and / artist with Pat Gleason doing a good chunk of the art in the Superman book. Just a great title. So let's take a look at the articulation, since I already said that. So the head, does look, left to right, still really stiff out of package. Arms go up to a 90 degree, which is pretty good. I believe the new Essentials line, you can get Superman more in a flight pose, which this kind of works for what it is, but you want to be able to get Superman's head up just a little bit higher here as he's flying. But it'll work. So you see he's got the ab crunch. Actually the upper ab swivel, which he doesn't move a whole lot. That's about it. The points here where the upper part of the ribs are do kind of get in the way. He can turn a little bit. It's not too bad. So like I said, there is an ab crunch there. And no, I thought it was more up the top here. So not too bad. So gone are the clear pegs, which we had a lot of problems with towards the tail end of the new 52 line. So these are a more solid plastic. They're not clear, so they're not going to break and bust on you. So I will see that they sometimes pop off, but they go back on very easy. So he's got a little bit more of a swivel action here, and kind of a T-jointed, double jointed knees, which is great. I forgot the double jointed elbows. Got him on frame there. There we go. Double jointed elbows, and then an ankle hinge and rocker off frame here. There, ankle hinge and rocker. So let's see if we can get him in the "Hi kids, I'm Superman" pose here. A nice, very soft. You can see the cape kind of flapping around here. Very cool pose. So he's slightly leaning a little bit. I think with the iPad that I have set up here is a little off kilter, but the table's a little off kilter. This is a little off kilter. So things will get progressively better as the channel goes on here moving forward. So let's take a look at Batman from the Justice League 7-pack. And there is Batman and Superman. No difference in the two figures, essentially. I think they just took them out of the 7-pack and put them in single-carded boxes. So whether you got the single-carded Batman or the Justice League 7-pack, your figures will look identical. So Batman comes to me courtesy of Stu Murray 47. So thank you very much, my friend, for sending me this Batman. So this is the first time I've had, I believe, this Batman on screen, and I will do a comparison with the Mattel Batman. And I've said before, it's like apples to bowling balls trying to compare figures. You can look at the DC Collectibles and Mattel and go, oh my gosh, one is clearly better than the other. But I still like both equally for what they are and for the type of figures that I'm setting up. So that's very cool to see Batman and Superman together in this line. And it'll be even cooler once I can get... sorry, I got figures falling here. The Super Sons standing together with their fathers, I think. All right, final thoughts here for the Rebirth Superman. A really good figure. Stu Murray 47 was telling me just what a really solid figure this was. And the figures have been pretty solid from the Icon line of the ones that I have picked up. I think I have 5 now. So I'm kind of now on the fence. I didn't really want to go totally down this line, but I've thought about maybe finishing out the Superman family, maybe with Supergirl. I doubt it. I think just getting the Super Sons 2-pack of Robin and Superboy to go with Batman and Robin will really round out my family setup really well. So today we'll be taking a look at the DC Collectibles DC Icons Rebirth single-carded Superman. And as always, this is Rob for Rob's Rogues signing off saying we will see you guys next time.